Okay, here we go, folks. Gear and Piston. Alright, so to score, the top section of the scoring track is this dollar sign, which is investors. Alright? So this investor here, she wants pretty much every feature, and she'll score equally to every feature in the vehicle. Alright, so for the first two comfort symbols in our vehicle, we'll score 2 victory points. Then for each additional one, we'll gain another 2 victory points. Alright? For range, on the first two, we'll score 2 victory points. And then again, for each additional one, we'll score 2 additional victory points. And finally, for power for this lady here, we'll gain 2 victory points for the first two. And then each additional one, we'll gain 2 more victory points. Okay? Our next guy here, he's looking for a hybrid. Alright, so he wants 2 types of propulsion units in our vehicle, which means we have to have a motor and a fuel supply of that particular color. Okay, so yellow here would be steam, and red would be gasoline, green would be electric. So this guy wants either a steam and a gasoline propulsion unit, or he wants a steam and electric unit, or he wants a gas and electric propulsion unit. And if we have one of these three combinations, we'll gain 3 victory points. Okay? Now, the game's broken up into 3 phases. The first phase is the action phase. That is where we will take our workers here and we will take turns placing them on the board in different areas on the board. Okay, so here we have the back alley, here we have the patent office, and here we have the junkyard, and finally down here we have the workshop. Alright, we'll be placing our workers in empty spots here, one at a time. Alright, as you can see, some spots here have numbers on them, and that's for more players. If we had 3 players, we could place a worker here. If we had 4 and 5, we could place a worker here also. Okay, and so on. You get the idea. Okay, and then I'll leave him there for a minute. And then the next phase is the resolve phase. So we will go one by one and resolve the actions that we have planned the phase before. Alright, so in the patent office here, we'll either take one of these 6 tiles and put it in our hand, which is called a blueprint, or we could blindly draw one from the top of the new part stack. If we were down here in the junkyard, we could take either 1 or 2 junk parts from either here in the top of the stack or here from the column here. Okay, now if we took it from the column here, we would take the part, put it in our hand, and then immediately replace it with one of these. Whereas with the patent office, these rows up here, if we took them from here, they would not get replenished. Okay, and then finally, when we come down to here, this will tell us how many actions we have to work on our car. Okay, and it also tells us who the first player of the next round will be. So the player who put one of their workers furthest to the right will be the first player on the next round. Okay, now the back alley, I didn't get into that. There's a few things we could do there, but it's basically we can get an advantage at a cost. Okay, so we could do something to mess up the next player or another player, but it will cost us 1 worker for 1 round, basically. So when we do something in the back alley, our worker would go into this temporary holding spot for the rest of the round, and then at the end of the next resolve phase, we would move them into the holding box here. Okay, so basically it takes them out for an entire round. Whereas up here, when we are finished doing the action in the resolve phase, we would just place our worker in our holding box here, and then we could use them on the next round. Alright, so enough about that. Let's get into the game. Jen is first player. She's yellow. I'm green. Okay, like usual. First thing she's going to do is she's going to come up here to the patent office. She's going to grab a new part tile. Okay, it's the first round. We don't have anything to build with. So that's basically what we're going to do on the first round. We're just going to grab some tiles so we could start building on our car. Okay, I'm also going to do that. And then again, it goes back to Jen. She's going to go there again. You know, no shock there. For my next action, I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to the patent office. I'm going to get 2 new parts for my vehicle. Okay, I don't know which ones I want to do yet, but we'll see when we get there. Alright, Jen's next action, she's going to go to the junkyard. And I'm going to do the same. We're going to get some junk parts there. Alright, and for Jen's final action, she's going to come down here to the workshop, which will give her 3 action points. Alright, so she could do, she could play either 3 component tiles on her vehicle, or she could upgrade them in another round. Can't do it in the first round because there's nothing out there. Or she could dismantle a part in another round once she starts building her vehicle. And we'll get into that in a little bit. And then I'm finally going to go here, and I'll have 2 action points, but I'll also be the first player on the next round. So now we go into the resolve phase. That was the end of the planning phase. We go into the resolve phase. The first thing you do in the resolve phase in any round other than this one is you resolve the first section here, the volatility section. Okay, when you do that, you would check your vehicle, and then you would add 1 point of volatility for every one of these symbols in your vehicle. It's the first round, so nobody has any volatility, so we don't have to adjust it. But you can also discard a tile from your blueprint if you wanted to. Okay, again, it's the first round, nobody wants to do it. You know, nobody has anything to do it with. Okay, so then we go to the back alley here. Nobody chose to go there this round. So then we go here to space 3 on the board, the patent office. Jen will go first here. So what she's going to do is she's going to grab this axle and she's going to place it in her blueprint. Okay? And then we place her worker in the holding box. Alright, so it goes to me. And now what I want to do is I want to grab this battery. Okay? Because every vehicle needs a propulsion system, and this is the fuel system for an electric system. Okay, so our one investor wants 2 propulsion systems in the vehicle, so I'm starting on 1 system. But our other investor here will give us 2 victory points for the first 2 range symbols, and then 2 victory points for each additional one. This battery has a range symbol on it, so that's good. I'm starting to work on points both ways there. Alright, and then we place our dude back in the holding box there. So it goes back to Jen, and Jen doesn't know what she wants to do yet as far as building wise goes. So she's just going to take one of these improvement tiles, okay, which will negate the effect of volatility. That's what that wrench means, okay? So she'll put that in her blueprint, and she puts her dude here in the holding area. So, comes back to me, and since I decided I'm going to start with the electric, I have that 1 tile here. I'm going to grab the improvement for electric, okay? And as you can see, it also has a range symbol on it. So, right now, when I lay these 2 tiles down, this and the battery, I already have 2 victory points at the end of the game. Okay? So that's the end of my turn up there goes the Jen. We go to the junkyard here. So Jen has a choice. She could take 1 or 2 tiles, and she could do that either here in this column facing up, or she could draw blindly from here, or she could take 1 from here and 1 from here. It's her choice. So the first thing she's going to do is, every vehicle needs 2 axles. She's going to take this axle. Okay. And then we immediately refill that. Okay. And then she's going to take another junk part, and she's going to do that blindly, and she draws this battery. Okay. So she places that in her hand. Let me try and separate these a little bit. Alright. There we go. Okay, so that's the end of Jen's turn. Our dude goes back into the holding cell. The holding box. It goes over to me. I need an axle. Okay? I need at least 2 of them. So I'm going to take that axle, and then we immediately fill that back in. Now I'm going to take another one, and I think I'm going to take this steam tank here. Okay? Because even though it's a junk part, there's no penalty on it. And also, there's no feature on it either. But at least there's no penalty. There's no volatility on it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. My first engine, my first propulsion type will be electric. I think I'll start working on steam for my second one. Okay, and then we immediately fill that back up, and it's another axle. Okay, so now that's the end of my turn in the junkyard. I put my dude up there. Okay, so now we go into the workshop. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first player token. Okay, so that tells me I go first the next round. Okay, and now we can do this simultaneously. We can do the workshop action simultaneously if players agree upon that in the beginning of the game. And me and Jen do play it simultaneously, but I'm only one person, so I'm going to do it one at a time. Okay, so Jen gets 3 actions, and I get 2 actions. Okay, so now let me slide these over. Okay, this represents the back and front of your vehicle. These player tiles, the player aid tiles, have no effect on the vehicle other than aesthetics. Okay, they just show that, you know, it's a closed board that goes across the vehicle. Okay, they have no bearing on the vehicle other than that, and they show which end is which. Okay, front and back, or reverse that, back and front, whatever. Okay, so Jen has 3 actions. Now, her first action is to lay this axle down, okay? Now, an axle can support 5 tiles adjacent to that axle in either an orthogonal or diagonal direction, okay? So, what she's going to do is, on her second action, she's going to place this battery. Okay. Now, she wants to try and group as many of the same color together as she can, because she'll get points for that at the end of the game. And for her third action, she's gonna play this improvement tile here. Okay. So that's her 3 actions. We place this guy back down here. So now, as you can see, the car is broken up into 2 sections, basically, the back and the front. You cannot build in more than 2 sections, okay? But you can combine the sections at some point, but once they are combined, they cannot be separated again unless they are held together by one tile and you use a dismantle action to remove that tile. And we'll get into dismantle and upgrade later on when we get the car a little more built out. Alright, so it goes over to me, and I have 2 actions. So my first action is I'm going to build this axle here. And then for my second action, I'm going to place this battery there. Okay. Alright, you know what? I'm actually going to put the battery over here. Okay. Don't really have to worry about what it looks like until the end. Alright. In order to complete a car, it has to have, as we can see here on the player reference tile, in order to complete a successful vehicle, you have to have a propulsion system which consists of one motor and the corresponding colored fuel system. Okay, then we need one gear unit, 2 axles, and you can only have one steering system. Alright, and then you can have an unlimited amount of improvements. Okay, so while you're building the vehicle, it doesn't matter how you lay them out, but it has to be a minimum of these requirements. And they must also be supported. A top section of the vehicle must be supported with a bottom section of the vehicle. And they're differentiated by this black line representing the road on a bottom section. And also the wooden section of the vehicle is a straight line going across. Whereas the top sections of the vehicle have this railing on it. They also have this curved section in the wood area. Okay? And there's no black line going across the top of the vehicle. Okay, so that is the end of the resolve phase. We now go into the refresh phase. Okay, so what that means is we're going to take all these face-up tiles in the junkyard and discard them. They're out of the game. You will never see them tiles again. Okay, and then we fill them back up with 3 new tiles of junk parts. Okay, so there we go. We have a gear unit and 2 steam motors. One has volatility, so does the gear unit, but one does not. Alright, and then now we're going to discard the new parts, again, never to be seen again, and refill these 2 rows with new parts from the new part stack. Okay, so there we go. What we have here is we have a gasoline fuel tank, okay, which will give some range to whoever owns that. We have 2 improvements on gasoline, okay. One has a power symbol, one has a range symbol. Then we have a steam tank and a steam motor. They both have range on it. And finally a gear unit which has range. Okay, so now I'm up first into the planning phase, and I'm going to go to the junkyard. I want to try and get this steam motor here. Alright, and then my second turn, I think I'm going to place a second guy in here, and I think I'm going to go for this gear unit, because every car needs a gear unit. Okay, so it goes over to Jen. Jen's going to place her worker there. She has this electric battery out there, and she needs a electric motor for that. But here we got a gasoline tank and a gasoline improvement, so she's going to try and grab both of them. Okay, goes over to me. There we go. And like I said, I think I'm going to grab the gear unit first so Jen can't. And then we'll see what else we go for. Alright. Goes back to Jen. And now it's up to me again. Now I can only take up to 5 tiles in my blueprint. Okay, so I have 2 here. I'm going to get 2 from here. So I can only take 1 more junk part. Okay, so I'll go to the junkyard there and grab 1 part from the junkyard. Now Jen, on the other hand, she could take 2 more. Okay, because she has 1 here. She'll grab 2 from here, that's 3. And she could grab 2 junk parts if she wishes to. Okay, and then for my final action, I'm going to come down here to the workshop, and so is Jen. Jen will be first the next turn, because again, she's closest to the right. Okay, so now we go into the resolve phase. First thing we do is we go to space 1 here, and we resolve the volatility track. Okay, so I have this wheel, which has this puff of smoke on it, this puff of black smoke. That's a volatility symbol. So I get 1 point of volatility. Okay. Now Jen has one tile here with volatility on it, but she has this improvement on it, which negates that. So Jen doesn't, she would get 1 point of volatility, but being she has this wrench, it automatically goes back to 0. Okay, it subtracts 1 point of volatility. So again, nobody went in the back alley. We go to the patent office, and like I said, I'm going to grab this gear unit because every car needs a gear. Okay, and then my dude goes into the holding box. Goes over to Jen. Now originally Jen was going to go for this, but she said, hey, what am I doing? There's an engine and a fuel tank out here for steam, so I'm going to grab the fuel tank, or the engine for steam. Okay, and we put that in her little box there, in her hand there. Okay, so it goes back to me. I'm not too happy she grabbed that, but she did. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this. Okay, and the reason I did that is I have one in my blueprint here. Okay, but this one will give me range, and remember, our investor wants that, so I'm going to grab that. And then when I get to the junkyard, I could always grab this steam engine here. Even though it doesn't give me any features, it still doesn't have any volatility. Okay, so that's what I did. Okay, so now Jen's like, okay, I gotta work on a second motor, and I took this steam motor here, so I'm just going to draw blindly from the top, and she gets a gasoline engine. Alright, so she put that in her hand there. Okay, so that's the end of that. Go to the junkyard. Now, like I said, I can only draw one more tile because I have 4. You can only have 5 in your blueprint. So I'm going to grab this steam motor, steam engine, okay? And then we automatically fill it up again. And we put my guy into the holding box. So it's Jen's turn. She only has 3 tiles in her hand, and she can take 2. Okay, so she has this steam engine. She's going to grab this. Oh no. She's going to grab this gear. Okay, because again, every car needs a gear. Okay, and then automatically fill that in, and now she's going to grab this steering column. Every car needs 1 steering column, and you can only have 1 steering column. Okay, so then we fill that in, and she gets that electric motor she needed, but it's too late now. Okay. So now we go into the workshop, and again, Jen is furthest to the right. She gets the first player marker, so she will be the first player in the next turn. Okay, so now I have 3 actions, Jen has 2. Okay, so for my 3 actions. Now, I want to place this steam engine and then the steam tank. And I'm going to place this one here. Okay. Now for my 3rd action, I think I'll put this improvement tile down for the electric. So that's my 3 actions. Jen only has 2 actions. So let's see what's she gonna do here. Now she has this brand new axle. Okay, and I give her a comfort action. So as you can see here, we have this symbol here, which means you can place tiles in your vehicle. This is dismantle. You can remove a tile. Okay, and each one of them counts as one action. For every tile you place or dismantle, it's one action. Here we can upgrade a tile, and we can do that an infinite amount of times. Okay, and that's one action. So what that means is for every tile we want to upgrade, as long as it's the same type and the same color as in the case with the propulsion units, we could do as many of them as we want with one action. Okay, so Jen's first action is she's going to upgrade this wheel, this axle. Or no, you know what? She's not going to upgrade it. She wants to hold off on that. She's going to hold off on that. Okay. Her first action, she's actually going to place the axle over here. Okay. She held off on that just in case she doesn't get another new axle. She has to have two, so she wants to hold off on that. All right. Her second action is she's gonna place this steering system there. Okay. So that's it. She gets two actions. That's all she's gonna do. So now we go into the refresh. Okay. We discard these three tiles and refill them. So we got an axle, a gear unit, and another gear unit. Okay. Same with up here. Discard them, never to be seen again, and we refill them. Okay, let me put these dudes back, I forgot. Okay, so now we go into the planning phase. Jen is up first, and she's gonna go to the patent office. Okay, for her first action, she's gonna grab this steering column there, and for her second action, she can only get two tiles because she has three. Remember, the hand limit is 5. She's gonna grab. She could either get the wheel or the gear unit and upgrade her parts, and that's pretty much all she's going to do this round. Is she's going to upgrade. Oh no, you know what? She's not. She's got this gasoline engine. She's going to abandon this steam engine. Okay, so she's going to grab the fuel tank on one action, and in the second action, she's going to upgrade either the steering column, the wheel, or the gear unit, depending on what I do. Okay, so it goes over to me. I'm going to come here, and I want to get that wheel. Okay, so it goes back to Jen. Now remember, she can only grab one more part because she has 3 tiles in her hand already, her blueprint. So for her second action, she's gonna go to the patent office, and like I said, depending on what I do, she's either gonna grab the steering wheel, the axle, or the gear unit. Okay, and she's just gonna upgrade them. All right, so it goes back to me, and I am going to go to the patent office, and then I'm going to get either a steering wheel or a gear unit, and I'm going to upgrade. Oh no, I got the gear unit. I'm just going to get a steering unit, okay? Goes back to Jen. Now Jen cannot go to the junkyard. She has 3 parts in her hand, and there's 2 that she's going to grab from here, so that equals 5. She'll reach her hand limit, so she can't do that. Although she can choose to discard a part here and then take 1. But there's really nothing here she wants, and she really doesn't want to draw blindly because she does need an electric motor. So she may do that. She may go to the junkyard, and then during the resolve phase, she'll discard a tile, which she planned to do anyway. She planned to get rid of this steam motor, the steam engine there. So yeah, maybe she will do that. Alright, so she'll go to the junkyard, and like I said, she'll discard this and then draw 1 tile blindly. Okay, goes to me. Now, I don't think I want any more junk parts, so I'm going to come down here, because I want to lay some tiles down. Okay, so that'll give me 3 actions, and then it goes to Jen. She's going to come here to the second spot, and then I'm going to come here to the spot after that, and that'll guarantee me to be the first player. Okay, on the next round. It'll also give me 4 actions. Okay, so we're done that. We go into the resolve phase. First thing we do is check the volatility track. Okay, so Jen has this, but this wrench negated the axle, but she also put out the steering wheel, so she has 1 point of volatility. I only have the 1. It's already shown, so I don't have to worry about that. So now, if we want to discard a tile, we could do that now. Jen is going to do that. She's going to discard this steam engine. It disappears, goes into a discard pile, out of the game. Okay, so then we move on. Nobody in the back alley. We go to the patent office. Jen's up first. And the first thing she's going to do is grab the gasoline tank. Okay? Her dude goes into the holding box. Goes over to me. And what did I say I was going to do? Oh, I needed a steering wheel. Okay, so I grabbed the steering column. He goes into the holding box. Goes back to Jen. Now, does Jen want to upgrade her axle? Or does she want to upgrade her gearbox? Or does she want to upgrade the steering? Alright, you know what? I think what she's going to do, she's going to go for the gearbox. Because she needs a gearbox. And if it doesn't have any volatility, she's better off. Okay? Alright, so it goes back to me. And I'm going to take the steering wheel. Or the axle. Okay? I'm going to put another axle out. And then hopefully later on I'll be able to upgrade that one. Alright. Goes over to Jen. Now, since she discarded 1 tile, she only has 4 in her blueprint. She can draw 1. And let's see what she wants to do. I think what she wants to do is she wants to draw. She could take this axle here and swap it out with this one to negate the volatility. But I think what she wants to do is try and get an electric motor. And she does not get it. She gets a gasoline fuel tank. Alright, no big deal. Alright, so goes into the box and I become the first player. And I get 4 actions and Jen gets 2. So, let's see here. For my first action, I will place this wheel down right here. Okay? For my second action, I'm going to place the gearbox down. Okay. Let me slide this back a little bit. For my third action, where do I want to place the steering wheel? I could place it here. But remember, for the largest group of one color, you get points. Although these are considered gray. The steering wheel, the gearbox, and the wheel, they're considered gray. So if I had a yellow tile here, it would actually count. Alright, but move this over a little bit more. I don't want to combine them. Alright, so for my last action, I think what I'm going to do is Do I want to place that? Because if I do, I'm committed to it. Which means I'm going to have to put another motor down. And if I put another motor down... See, if I put this down here, it means I'll have to put another motor down. Okay, which means it would have to be a top piece. But that also means I'd have to fill in down here with parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need 3 more parts to trigger the end of the game on this car. Alright, which means I have to put a motor for the electric here, and then I would need a motor for this steam system up top. So that's 2 there, which would give me 1 more to put down on the bottom here. Alright, so say I got an improvement, I put it there, that leaves 2 empty spots, which I'll have to fill with spare scrap parts. And scrap parts equal volatility. Volatility equals negative points. So, although this could work in the long run because it's a continuous group. Hey, you know what? Screw it. I'll put it there. Alright, so I'm going to put that one down. That's my 4th faction. Jen gets 2 actions. Okay, so let's see what she's going to do. She is going to, for the first one, she's going to put this gearbox down because you need a gearbox. Okay, you can't have a car without a gearbox. Her second action is put the gas tank down. Okay, and that's all she has. That's all she can do. So she's going to discard these 2 eventually. 1 next round, 1 probably the following round. If there is a following round, we'll see. So that's the end of that. Let me put these dudes in the box. Oh. Let me spill them all over the place while I'm putting them in the box. Alright. And then we go into the refresh phase. So. We discard them. Okay, so here we go.